We've talked about this situation before, how fully qualified doctors from other countries end up coming here to Canada, to Quebec, and not having their foreign credentials recognized, at least for the professions they had coming from the country they were in. Many of them, sadly, end up working at rather menial jobs like parking lot attendants or taxi drivers, when in fact, they could be, should be, some would say, helping solve the labor shortage in our healthcare system. But even more confusing, and perhaps damning, is the fact that during the pandemic, when hospitals were overwhelmed, their credentials were good enough. And not only were they welcomed into the healthcare system where they were so desperately needed, but they were promised permanent jobs when that crisis was over. Now, 2 years removed from the worst of the pandemic, many of those same doctors have not been given the jobs they were promised after helping Quebec when they were most needed. One of these doctors, who wishes to remain anonymous for fear of jeopardizing her chances to still find a job in the system, is on the line right now. We will call her Alex. Alex, first of all, thank you for being here. And I know you're concerned about people finding out that, this is you and you want to talk about this, but it's important enough that you do want to talk about it. So let's start with, what country did you come from and how long ago?
So I am coming from Europe. I am a general practitioner, and I work in the CJAD, the L'Ouest de Montreal, for 3 years for now. So last year, in June 30, our contract was finished. And during the pandemic, we worked a lot, very hard, more than 50 hours a week, working evening and weekends where no one wanted to work. Everybody was afraid, but we were there to help manage the crisis and to enforce the preventative measures. So after 3 years, after finishing our contract, they promised us a full-time permanent position. So we used to be competent and useful for the 3 years period, and so we were promised to have a regular status as a full-time permanent employee of the CJAD, but then jobs were posted specifically to absorb us. But as we started applying, the postings were cancelled for lack of budget. So now, after 10 months without a job, we are on a fictive recall list. We were being told that's the best way to maintain our link of employment, to be on this recall fictive list.
Okay, I want to stop you for a second. I don't understand something. You're saying that after the contract was over, there were jobs posted for full-time employees, but when you applied for them, they told you they didn't have the budget. Is that correct? Do I understand that right?
Exactly. So we started applying, and after that, the posting were just simply cancelled, saying that no more budget.
And do you happen to know if other people were hired to fill those jobs?
We were a small group, and they get a job just for colleagues. We were hired, yeah.
So I wonder, by the way, so you said you're from Europe. How many other people do you know who found themselves in the same situation?
Well, we are more than, when we started work, we were 60 foreign doctors. And in our use, we were just 20 doctors that we are looking for jobs.
And where did the others go?
The others, they stayed without any job. They didn't get a job.
So we have all these qualified people who were good enough to work during the pandemic in the system. Suddenly, they're not good enough, and they don't have jobs, and they're no longer working in healthcare.
Exactly, right.
I mean, I'm sitting here shaking my head, and I'm sure people listening to this are thinking the same thing. Were you given any kind of a reason as to why, after being promised a job, you worked in the system, you did your time for 3 years, why they said, no, we're not going to give you the job? Outside of there's no budget?
No, it was lack of budget.
That's all?
That's all, yeah.
And who do you have anyone advocating for you now?
We applied for many jobs, me and my colleagues, but we applied even for other jobs, but we didn't get any job.
And you were given no explanation as to why?
And no explanation and no back answer, right.
Okay. So when I said advocating, do you have a person, a lawyer, somebody who said, look, we understand your situation. It seems, first of all, very unfair, and this is not the right way to treat people who worked in the healthcare system. Is there anybody doing this for you?
No, we have the support of our syndicate, APTS. They help us, they support us, but they don't have any lawyers.
Mm-hmm. And what have they told you in terms of, I'm guessing they've talked to the government about this, your union? What have they said?
Yeah, they are in conversation with the government, but I think the government just forget us, because they really appreciate. Finally, they didn't appreciate our hard job when everyone so we were there. Nobody wanted to work, but after finishing the pandemic, just forget us. So no more budget.
Was it ever a question? Did someone ever say to you, look, it's about your credentials. We don't recognize those credentials here. Did that ever come up?
No, it's just the only answer was just the budget. Nothing, no other answers. Yeah.
I almost don't know what to say. I mean, you said that all the people, you said 60 of you were working, 20 of you now involved in this. The other 40 have just decided to go do something else. Do you talk to any of these people who are no longer in the system? What do they tell you?
Yeah, I talked to many colleagues, and they still they are in the same position like me. So we are just applying for jobs in the CJAD and other institutions, but no, they don't even answer back to us.
Would you be able to apply? So you were in the public system. If you wanted to, could you work in the private system in Quebec?
I would like to work, doesn't matter where, in the health system, because like me or my other colleagues, we are doctors, we are educated, we have a lot of experience, but the government or the health system, they don't appreciate us. This is just unfair.
All right. What you said, by the way, at the beginning, you worked, or you graduated, you worked as a general practitioner, right?
Yes.
And you know, of course, there's a huge shortage of general practitioners right now in Quebec.
Exactly.
So one and one does not equal two.
Okay. Well, like me, we are able to go, doesn't matter just to work. We just want to be active, to work in the health system. Yeah.
By the way, one last question is, and yes. we have a system in Quebec where when you graduate, for example, you don't get to choose where you want to work. If you want to work in Montreal, for example, are you willing to go anywhere in Quebec to work?
Sure, I am willing to go anywhere. I just want to work. I just want to work in the system, in the health system, nothing else. So, and I am able to do any job in the health system, or even other jobs, like you said before. They are the taxi drivers, delivery people, anything. But we are educated, we are experienced. So I think we deserve to have a decent job in the health system.
It's a story, I think, as I said, is hard to understand, hard to believe, but we will leave it at that. I'm out of time. I thank you so much. I wish you the best, and I would like, we're going to try to follow up on our own to see if we can get an explanation as to why this is happening, and if we do, I will contact you again. And in the meantime, if something changes for you, please reach out and contact us again.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.